Tim, you've been going against this offense for a while now. Why do you think opposing defenses are having trouble adapting to it, adjusting to it, making any headway?
Yeah, I think with anything, it's a great question. It starts with your players. We got really good personnel here. Obviously, tremendous quarterback play over the last couple years, and a plethora of receivers, and I don't think that our O-line nor our running backs get the credit they deserve. So I think it starts with the players, okay, and then you add obviously Coach Heupel and his football acumen. Now obviously with Coach Joey and obviously what Coach Gold has brought to the table, and Coach Ellerby, that whole staff. So I just think it's a combination of obviously great players and great minds on the offensive side of the ball, and a tremendous scheme. So we feel very fortunate that every day we get a chance to go against it, because we feel like if obviously we can defend those guys, we'll have a great opportunity defending anybody in the country.
Vince up front, then Adam.
Coach, do you feel like you have the personnel, especially if they develop, to be able to get home and affect the quarterback with your front four as opposed to relying more on the blitz?
Yeah, another great question. That's obviously what we're building toward. We feel very good about the number of guys that we have returning. Obviously, we feel like we recruited at a high level, and we have some young players that are going to get some opportunity to show what they can do. But just like anything, it's a work in progress. We'll obviously know more, once we get going and doing camp this season. And hopefully, if we develop, the way we think we should, that'll obviously open up another, some more opportunities for us to be even more creative as in terms of getting to the quarterback.
Your defense made a big jump in a lot of areas from year one to year two. Third down defense, run defense, points allowed. How much of that did you see in fall camp last year, that you could see that progress coming during the season, or did it only show up later in the season?
Yeah, I think everything is a progress, is a process, so to speak. We thought we were getting better, but not just, obviously it showed dividends and some stats, but I think we got better in a lot of areas, quite frankly, and that's why you work. Every year is a new year. You try to identify some things that you think you need to improve on that can help us win and win at a higher clip. We obviously identified some things last year, and we worked to correct it. But like I say every day, it always starts with the players. I thought our players bought into what we're trying to get accomplished, and they obviously played at a high level.
Ben up front, then David.
Tim, how have you seen Aaron Beasley grow as a leader this offseason, and what leadership has Keenan Peely been able to provide for you this offseason?
Yeah, I think with Aaron, obviously just confidence, and I think he's always been confident, but I think, as the spotlight started to shift toward him a little bit, I thought he got more comfortable in that setting. So he's been great. I think he's had a tremendous offseason. From a leadership perspective, I think he feels like he has a voice, and people obviously will listen, when they see the production that he's put together consistently. So as far as KP goes, he's obviously was a great addition to our team this spring. Just a tremendous young man, tremendous family man, big athletic, physical. We're obviously super excited about, watching him continue to develop during camp. I think all of our team, particularly on our side of the ball, really respects him because of his work ethic. Not really a real vocal person at this point, but I think as he continues to get more comfortable, with our team, I think you'll see him become even more vocal.
Tim, what is it like inside this program right now, where you guys have some proof of concept and some reward for the buy-in that you guys saw early on, but still have, certainly as Josh said, previously some unfulfilled goals?
Yeah, I think it's great. I think it's, great for the fans. I think for us personally, we realized that, obviously what you did last year was last year. I think at this point, we're continuing to, chop wood, carry water, so to speak, to get ready for, this upcoming season. So from a confidence perspective, obviously that's great, but as I told the kids, confidence is only good, or experience, I should say, is only good, when you can go back and learn from it, whether it was good, whether it was bad. If we learn from it, build upon it, then obviously it's something that can become special, obviously moving forward. But can't carry over no tackles, can't carry over no interceptions. We got to earn them again during camp. So, and that's obviously the goal.
Rob on the back left row here.
Coach,
Coach, going back to Aaron Beasley, when you got here, he'd been a guy, like safety, running back, he bounced all over the place. When did you kind of realize that he could be this kind of player for you? When did it click for him? When did you start to see it?
Yeah, again, when we got here, it just kind of transitioned to the linebacker position. I think he's really a quiet guy by nature, but I think he has a quiet confidence about him. So he was always sneaky athletic. He didn't say a bunch, but we obviously got here, with some things that he needed to get cleaned up. Missed a little bit of time. But when he got back, got his legs under him, we knew right away that, we felt like he could be a guy that we could count on. So nothing's been given to him. Everything's been earned, and that just makes it that much sweeter to me. He's definitely one of those guys. He didn't come in here as a highly thought of linebacker. Obviously he was defensive back, but he's really worked his tail off every year to put himself in a position to not only be a consistent linebacker, but to be a high impact linebacker, in this league.
Reese in the back and then Wes.
The edge back here. The edge is obviously a position where you need somebody to step up. How have you seen Tyler there kind of develop, and what's a successful season for him?
Yeah, I mean, Tyler has always had the talent. The guy gives the talent. He's arguably, one of our better players on our defense in general, not just up front. He's long, he's athletic. I think the biggest thing for him, it's just kind of one of those things. He's been banged up a ton, so he was fortunate enough to be able to make it all the way through spring. We thought we saw a lot of, great consistency with his play, and we're obviously super fired up to watch it, carry over into camp. So what does a successful season look like for him? I just think him reaching his full potential, on the field. I think that'll help our defense, and obviously the goal is to play at a high level defensively, and he can be a big part of that.
Tim, how much different of a competition are you expecting from the cornerbacks than you had last preseason camp? Guys started getting hurt. It just seemed like it was who can go today, who can roll out there, and maybe that hurt a little bit during the season. So many bodies there now. How much difference are you expecting there, and how much should that help the position? Yeah,
it'll help a ton, because all those guys are healthy at this point, and very talented. I think the room's very talented. Again, if you're not out there to get the reps, it's hard to play to your full potential. So having all those guys back, with game time experience, only helps us, because at the end of the day, to think that we can go into the season with just two corners, is not what we think. We know we'll need at least 3, 4, in a perfect world, 5 guys, that we feel like that we can plug and play, and it won't be a huge drop off. So having all those guys healthy and ready to compete, only will help that room get better. And if they're better, we're obviously better.
Back to David.
Tim, where have you seen the most growth in your unit since you've been here, and what do you need to get to the next level offensively?
Yeah, I think just the overall consistency and confidence. You got here. I don't think the room, had a lot of confidence. I think those guys are very confident in, what they bring to the table. Where we need to go. Obviously every year is a new year, as I tell guys. We just want to be consistent with our play. We want to be able to have, a unit that guys can look out there and see very clearly that we're going to play extremely hard, being tough, and being smart, a unit that doesn't beat himself. And for the most part, we've been that, but I think to continue to grow in those areas, only bode well for this team.
Back to John. Mike.
Tim, could you, what are your expectations for Roman Harrison this season?
Yeah, Roman's played a lot of football for us, and it's funny because when you go back through the cut-ups, obviously BY, had a tremendous season for us, and, he'll be greatly missed. But, Roman showed some flashes. He's probably pound for pound one of the tougher players in this conference. So I think just, what I mentioned earlier, just the consistency, playing maybe a little bit smarter, just, cleaning up those things. And quite honestly, we saw some of that from him this spring. We thought he was a lot more consistent in what we were asking him to do. And I think his overall knowledge of, not just, rushing the passer, but what we're asking him to do and some coverage principles, he got a lot better. So we're expecting him to have a really good year for us, and he needs to. He's one of the harder workers on our team, on our defense in particular. And, we obviously, we're hoping for the best for him. And, everything he showed us to this point is leaning toward that direction.
Rob on the left, Vince up front.
Coach, just the nature of this business, coaches move around all the time, but you're going to the third year, pretty much the same guys. How much of a luxury is that? How much of a benefit is that as you start fall camp?
Yeah, it's always great. Like you said, it's a lot of, turnover every year, in the collegiate game, obviously the pros as well. I think from a football perspective, it's awesome. But to be quite honest, I think it's awesome just from a recruiting. You get a chance to recruit these kids and, you get a chance to see them start to develop and start to grow, not just as players but as men. So, I don't know if there's anything more gratifying than that, and to watch someone develop, under your watch, academically, socially, and obviously on the field. So, being able to have some continuity, in what we call home, and Knoxville's been very good to me and my wife. So it's truly a blessing, and I'm extremely grateful for the opportunity.
What are the skill sets and things you like about Omar and Norman Lott?
Man, yeah, Omar's been a good get for us. Just his quickness, he's very sudden. He's not obviously the biggest guy in terms of length, but he's extremely wide, and he has a tremendous first step. So, our inside guys have been really good, particularly against the run. I think Lott can give us the same thing versus the run, but I also think he brings the element of explosiveness, getting off the ball with his first step. So we definitely think he'll help us in the pass game. But, the way we move, the way we stunt, I think he has a chance to be really productive in our system.
Last question, Adam.
Your defense played a big part in a number of wins last year, Vandy, Kentucky, LSU, the Orange Bowl. Do you feel like that was communicated well enough to the players that how much of a hand they had in those wins from you or Coach Heupel? Because people think of this as an offensive team, but it's a pretty big hand in those wins.
Yeah. We honestly, our kids know. We know what we bring to the table. We know how well we played. You can't win 11 games without playing great defense, and we felt like we more than handled our business on that side of the ball. But our ultimate goal is obviously to play for championships, and for us to do that, we have to continue to grow in our role. So who gets the credit? We don't spend a whole lot of time worrying about that. We worry more about just getting a win at the end of the day, and that's been our message since day one. And I think if you ask our kids, they'll say the same. So. We don't care about all that. We know what we bring to the table. We're very confident in our approach and in our system, and we're super excited just about the opportunity to go out there and compete for Tennessee.
Thank you, Coach. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.